The galaxies don't exist without the scalar field. I wrote a paper on the relationship between scalar waves and transverse waves and how you cannot have a transverse wave without having at the same time a scalar wave that associates with it that's just at a 90-degree offset. It's like another dimension. And what I found was that it was exactly as we heard Einstein posit, which is that it wasn't that geometry described space-time. He said geometry was space-time. And I thought that was fascinating because then I saw that the relationship between scalar and transverse, which we think are totally separate, or let's say longitudinal wave compressions versus transverse wave of light. You ask most scientists today, they would all say that there's no relationship between the two. I know, in fact, that there is. We analyzed like over 100 galaxies. Until then, we could never see a perfect prediction of why a galaxy would have a certain pitch of its virality. And then once we finally figured this out, we could actually correctly predict every one. So the scalar waves would be the geometric lines that you see that actually create the transverse waves of what we see in the way the universe forms itself with matter and the light that comes off of it. So the scalar was fully integrated. These scalar compression longitudinal waves were exactly 90-degree offset, as you would expect they would have to be, and from the actual curvature. And this was able to predict the exact spirality of all galaxies that were spiral galaxies. I was able, even from this analysis, to predict the speed of hurricanes on the ground just by looking at the satellite imagery. Because what we could figure out is within 5 miles per hour, based on the modular arrangement configuration of the spirals. So this is a square spiral where you see this hurricane. It's a square spiral, which then means it's a mod 8, right? So the number of mods becomes twice as many because you've got an inscribed square within the square. And so from this, we knew that this particular type of mod 8 spiral would generate a speed of 105 miles an hour. And we didn't even need to measure it. And we were able to directly correlate the modularity. And so as it gets faster, the spiral polygonal relationship becomes more complex. So this becomes a mod 18, and it's over 150 miles an hour. So scalar technology is not separate from light-based technology at all. So then forevermore, we think it's totally separate, but it's really not. So that's why I'm quite excited about what you've been doing, because these are the scalar waves. They look like the scales on the back of a dragon as the spiral of the transverse wave is right along the center of each of these triangles.